back to another Jazz Drum Q-Tip of the week. My name, if you're new, is Quincy Davis. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out this video. If you enjoy it, let me know by pressing that like button, leave comments, and of course, I would really love it if you subscribed. All right, so this video, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a rant, hopefully not too long, but as you can see the title, it's not what you do, but how you do it. And the reason why I say that, and the reason why I wanted to kind of title the video that, is because last week's video, it's doing really well. Many of you are enjoying it, and many of you are checking out some of the comping ETUDES that I've recently put out. I'm gonna make sure the link is down below, and I think they're going to really help many of you because it's a language-based approach to learning comping. All that stuff. Instead of thinking about it as more independence exercises, it's more of a language-based approach to learning and working on independence. So, and that may be a little bit controversial because it's kind of like I'm giving you the answers to the test. And that's not necessarily how I learned, or many of my peers, or certainly many of the masters, because they had to seek it out. I seeked it out. I transcribed, I listened, I watched. I tried to get it that way, but I realized also that things are different, right? And if we have the resources to learn a different way, then why not take advantage of them? Also, it's how I learn. It's how I teach myself. So the way I teach you and the way I break things down for you is exactly how I break them down for myself. So why not just share and let you into my process that's helped me get to where I am today. So that's my reasoning. But again, many, master drummers, many professional drummers, great drummers might find that controversy and say, hey, they need to figure it out by themselves instead of giving it to them. But I feel differently. Anyway, I say all that to say that I'm giving you the answers to the test, and many of you will still not pass the test, so to speak, because it's not about what you do, but it's about how you do it, right? So I could play the exact same thing that you might play, and it's going to sound completely different, not because I'm better or not because my independence is so amazing. It's because I know what it's supposed to sound like based on recordings and based on many of my heroes, the heroes of this instrument. And that's often the difference. When you're not honest with how you sound and how you're doing it, and you're just doing it and not really paying attention to the nuances and the subtle detail that is necessary to really create the feeling and sound that you hear Art Blakey and all the great jazz masters play with. When you're not really listening and paying attention to that and being honest with yourself, then it's never going to sound, close to what it's supposed to sound like in the tradition. Obviously, you can do whatever the hell you want, but I think many of you watch me because I'm trying to give you the authentic approach to playing this music, jazz, which is, it can be daunting and it can be kind of, it can be hard to get because it can be a little bit vague, and it's hard to really break down some of these nuanced approaches to playing the instrument that are involved in jazz drumming. So that's where, even if I give you the answers, you got to go to all the recordings and videos and watch them live to really hear what it's supposed to sound like. And that's going to influence how you approach doing it, how you approach doing it, not just doing it, but how you approach doing it. This is going to hurt some of your feelings, but I don't care because today I'm just going on a little rant and I want to be very honest with you. What's holding many of you back is not your ability, not your technique, right? Not your lack of speed, right? All those things, you got what you need here, but what's really holding you back is your ego. And I'll say that again. What's really holding you back is your ego. Your ego is not allowing you to be honest with yourself. Your ego and your pride will not allow you to really say, hey, you know what? Yes, I can play, but this still doesn't sound like that, or it doesn't sound the way I really want it to sound. And not being content with that is the key to getting better. Every day I break down what I do, whether I'm practicing drums or piano or I'm writing music. I am extremely humble, and I know that I'm not where I want to be. So there's no reason for me to have an ego in what I'm doing, because what good is that, right? It doesn't really serve a purpose other than to hold me back. So I am completely humble in everything I do. I don't come on here and boast about everything I've done. I've done a lot of things in my career. I've traveled the world. I played with so many amazing musicians. I've recorded albums. I've played at all the top clubs. I guess I'm boasting now. But some of you kind of have to hear, because I get some comments, some funny comments like, "Hey, who are you? What have you done? You're not anybody. You're just a YouTuber." I'm actually not just a YouTuber. But you can look at my resume, and that's all good. But the point is that that's not why I'm here. If I had an ego, then I would boast and tell you everything that I've done, everything I'm doing, everything I'm going to be doing. But it's not about that. It's about sharing information, sharing knowledge, the little knowledge I have. And also, I'm humble because I know I have far more weaknesses than I have strengths, right? And that's always going to keep me humble. And that's what should keep everybody, all artists, humble, because there's so much to learn, and there's just no room for ego. When you have an ego, it's going to hold you back. Like I said, that can be your biggest weakness. However, it is important to have confidence. Confidence and having an ego are two different things, right? All the hard work you've put in, you earn that right to have confidence when you go to play, but you do not earn a right to have an ego. There's no place for ego in the music, in my opinion. So I'm gonna play something two different ways, and you tell me which one sounds better. And hopefully it is obvious that the second way I played it is so much better. It feels so much better, and it sounds more like jazz. And that's just to show you, at first it may be about what you play, but in the end it's about how you play it, because mostly everybody can play at a certain level. Everybody can play what I just played, but it's how you play it. And it's up to you how deep into the minutia and the nuance and the subtlety and the hipness of the music and of this instrument you want to go. Don't let your ego get in the way of that, and don't show me, right? I get in some lessons, and many drummers just want to show me what they can do, and I don't really care about seeing what you can do. I just want you to do it. You don't have to show me, right? Just play the music and do it. And if you're doing it, then you're doing it, and you don't have to worry about showing it, because it's being shown without you making an effort to show it. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. The last thing I want to say is, hopefully it's a little more encouraging than the rest of my rant, but hey, you're good enough, right? Don't compare yourself to others. That's usually one of the worst things you can do to lose confidence, because you start comparing yourself to what others are doing, and then you follow what they're doing more than what you're supposed to be doing, where your heart is leading you, right? Trust your path. As they say in sports, trust the process. If your process is good, then you're on your way, right? Maybe you have to check your process, but don't check who you are. Stay true to who you are. Stay true to where your passion is, and what you want to do, not what they want you to do or what you think you should be doing because they're doing it. You know what I mean? Okay, so that's really important. Otherwise, that can also hinder your growth and your progress when you're comparing yourself. And it's easy to do with the prevalence and the ubiquitous nature of social media. So be really careful of comparing yourself more than just trusting your process, and doing the work, not being lazy, right? And really getting into the nitty gritty and the nuance and the subtlety and the hipness of what we do. And trust that that is enough, right? When you're really listening, you're working on exercises, but you're also really cognizant of how it's supposed to sound, not just the independence aspect of it. That's really going to make the difference, okay? All right, so that is today's lesson or rant. And hopefully you got something out of it. Remember, it's not what you do, but how you do it. That is so important, and that can make all of the difference, okay? So stay in touch. If you want to check out these recent etudes I put out, check them out. But remember, it's not just about being able to play them and execute them. It's about how does it feel? How does it sound, right? How relaxed are you? Are you using good technique? Is it swinging, right? All these things matter, not just getting the notes out, okay? It's not what you do, but how you do it, okay? Remember that. And also, as always, practice hard, but practice smart. Take care. Bye-bye.